and welcome to the Healing Path. I'm Laura Donnelly, founder of the Healing Path Conversation Series and Dancing with Ease Body Brain Balance. People hire me to teach them to move out of pain and into healing. Series of conversations with friends and colleagues offers many perspectives on healing. The thing we have in common is the concept that healing begins inside ourselves with a decision to heal, and it expands outward from there. My guest today is Pam Dunwald, and we met online a couple of years ago and found that we had a lot of ideas in common about people and how we care for our parents and aging friends. So I'll bring Pam on and let her tell you a little bit about herself, and then we'll just chat about this wonderful senior care summit that she has coming up.
Well, hi, Laura.
Hi, Pam.
Hi. It's just an honor and a pleasure to be here. I'm excited to be a part of this, and thank you for inviting me. But just a little bit about myself. Again, my name is Pam Dunwald. I've been a registered nurse now for over 40 years, and I've done many things during that career, but I've always stayed in that aging adult space, and my elders are my favorite. And so I've done acute care, which is back in the day, they would call it med surge, just that overall general nurse that deals with chronic health conditions. And then I did emergency room nursing when I was younger for several years. So I learned a lot about, nursing at that level. And then the bulk of it was 20 years. I did home health and hospice. So that was probably the most that I spent in one type of specialty in nursing. And so I retired from hospital nursing just this past October. And a good friend of mine who's also been a nurse for over 40 years, we decided that, we didn't want to stop nursing just because we were retiring from corporate nursing. So we became patient advocates, and we took a board certification in because we wanted to continue to serve. We wanted to continue to help others and to serve others. And so that kind of brought us to today, where we have a patient advocacy business, and which leading up to our summit. But a little bit about me, maybe some fun things that people don't know is, before I became a nurse, I actually went to dog grooming school. I became a dog groomer, and I wanted to be a veterinarian. That was when I was a child, what I wanted to be. And of course, life throws things at you, and sometimes things don't go the way you plan, but you punt. And so I was always a nurturer, and we love horses. We live in the middle of Amish country in Southwest Wisconsin. We are near La Crosse, about an hour from La Crosse along the Mississippi River. And we live on about 115 acres of woods and a trout stream, and we have horses. And I love the woods. I love the peace. I love the healing of the outdoors. And that's one of my favorite things to do, is just to be out in the woods. And it's funny, if you really listen, the woods are very noisy. And you think it's very quiet, but it's actually very noisy. But I just love the peace and the tranquility of the outdoors. And so Laura and I got talking again because what we're pulling together, Lynn and I, is a senior care summit. And that is for aging adults and their adult children. So those aging adults that want to be proactive and want to try and get their healthcare journey in order, and not want to be a burden on those adult kids, or those adult children of those aging parents that find themselves in a place where now, oh gosh, I've got to help mom and dad manage their care. Where do I start? Where do I begin? And so this summit is bringing together, we started out with a goal of 28 topics and 28 speakers, and we ended up with 34 topics and 32 speakers. We are very, very excited to have Laura speaking as one of our speakers. And so she will be participating in the summit. And I think when you talk about healing, and when you look at my world in dealing with aging adults and healing, no matter what phase or what area you're trying to heal, I believe it takes a village. And so I can come along with plans and things to reduce the stress, give some time back, and help you manage your aging parents, where Laura can help you fix you. I mean, there's a lot of challenges that go in with caring for an aging loved one, or whether it's a parent or a grandparent. And it weighs on you. There's a lot of challenges. And especially if your loved one maybe have, dementia, that changes the whole entire relationship. And you always have to leave room for self-care and healing. So I just really think that the summit is going to be a great, besides doctors, nurses, we're going to have practical things. We're going to have healing. We're going to have mental health providers and people that talk about some of those softer skills that we need, as well as downsizing and decluttering and all these types of things to help. So real excited to share, and also to have Laura participate. So that's a little bit about me.
So, yeah, we met several years ago. I was working with a friend, and we were running something called Caregivers Central, which was a group online to support caregivers. And all kinds of caregivers, people caring for parents, people caring for friends. There is a lot today of people who are the same age caring for each other because they have kids. And that's a whole different kind of thing. And I know you have a topic on your summit about some of the legal issues. And those are important things when you're caring for somebody in your family. And they're also really important things when you're caring for somebody not in your family. So when Imogen and I met Pam online, discovered Pam's work, we were really excited to be able to share that with people we knew who were looking for actual help. How do you deal with Medicare when your person you're taking care of can't go on to Medicare, and maybe they didn't already appoint you as their I forgot what it's called, but it's not an advocate, but it's a person. Mm-hmm. Power of attorney, I'm a little interested to see how all of this web access goes, and how this changes things that can happen for families, caring for families.
Yeah, there's
because you lose your
no, I'm still here. Can you?
No. I said, if you lose your phone, right, which happens, you lose your phone, then you can't access your site anymore because it's tied to your phone and your authentication. And so I know they're trying to make things easier, but I'm sure in your work you have found that a lot of times that easierness isn't actually easier.
That's so true. And so that's why too at the summit, I mean, that we have a QR code, but we have our website to register, but also we put our phone number out there, because not everybody, in this situation has the same level of technology. So we don't want to exclude everyone, and want to be able to allow everyone to get it. And one thing that I did want to say with all of these videos, we didn't want it to be so overwhelming for everyone. So what we've done is we've placed these videos in what we call 5 areas of need. And so that's how the videos and the speakers will be sorted. So we're going to have caregiver support and family dynamics, and that's the category that Laura is going to be in for us. And then we have category or need 2, navigating the healthcare system. Then we have 3, which is health and wellness. And that's where the majority of our doctors and nurses and nurse practitioners are going to be speaking. And then we have home and environment. And some of the things in that, we've got a gentleman in IT talking about cybersecurity and senior scams. We have a contractor that's going to be talking about, what do you do? How do you modify a bathroom? How do you know a good contractor, or what are codes, or what do you need to do? You just can't get those stick up grab bars for your shower, because they're going to pull off the wall. And so we have those types of things. And then we have legal and financial, where we're going to have an estate planning attorney, And we're going to have a social worker talking about advanced directives and living wills, as well as a financial planner who's going to talk about how do you prepare for maybe aging in place versus, some kind of senior living option. And also we're going to have a segment in this category on elder abuse. So we're hoping that we're really getting a full picture of the different areas of need that people managing the care of someone they love can have resources for.
That's really comprehensive. And I also, I think that you told me that you have spread this out so that during the day, there's one session that people can watch a day.
Yeah,
and then
yes,
two on the weekends.
Well, all the videos are going to be pre-recorded. So depending on the option, there's a free option with limited access, and then there's a paid option for unlimited access. So whichever you feel more comfortable choosing will determine how your videos will be delivered, whether it's going to be on our online hub where you get all unlimited access, or we're going to release 1 to 2 videos a day for the free version to your email, whatever email that you register with, so that it's spread out over 2 weeks. So the summit will actually run from March 1st to March 14th, and we will spread those videos over that 2-week period so that you can consume them in smaller chunks and it doesn't get very overwhelming. So it's a big summit and a lot of topics, but we wanted to try and make a way where we can kind of dilute it so that it's not so overwhelming.
And I think that that's really wonderful. And I think it's a piece, also an important piece of elder care in terms of the person caregiving can get overwhelmed with too many things to do and too many things to take care of. But also the person being cared for can be overwhelmed when somebody tries to do all the things too fast. And so to remember, like you guys said, well, so we'll just spread it out over 2 weeks. There's no rule how you have to do this. And I think part of caregiving is there are external things that you have to negotiate. Like you were saying to me earlier, you had an appointment you took your mom to, but they never go the way you expect them to go.
Mm-hmm.
But for one of my friends, I helped her with her mom, and what we realized is she did one thing a day. She can go to a doctor's appointment in the day, or she can have her hair done. But if she goes to a doctor's appointment in the morning and goes to have her hair done in the afternoon, she's so tired that the next day she has a bad day. Then everybody worries that she's having a decline when she's just tired.
Yeah, she's just
tired. Yep. And there's a lot. I think the 5 topics that you have pulled together are really comprehensive, and they're set up in such a way that people in different stages of care can find something that is useful and helpful to them without maybe needing to take in the whole summit.
Yeah, and that's a really good point, Laura, because what we've done is we've taken that one step further. So on our registration page, you can see all the topics and what area of need they come on, just so you can look and see what what appeals to you. And if you want the unlimited version, you can even pick just 1 or 2 of the categories, the areas of need. If you don't want the whole summit, you can just pick and choose and choose a la carte. So we try to make it as easy for people to get the information that they want in the simplest form. So
that's really it's really wonderful, and I'm looking forward to being part of this because partly what I felt like the first time I was in a caring situation, I was helping my husband with his mom who had dementia. And I was mostly comic relief, an extra set of hands if we were going out, someone she knew, and didn't have to be, what I want to say, totally on for. except that I wasn't really family. We weren't married at that time. So she was a little bit better on her better behavior when I was around out in public. She would give him the kind of grief that she would give him normally sometimes. And so I was kind of swimming, just swimming in a vast area of not knowing what was, But I knew her about 3 years, but she never learned my name. By the time I met her, she was not adding new words to her vocabulary. But she always knew who I was. So like if I came from work and met them at a restaurant, she would go, "There you are." And I would go, "Yeah, here I am." And from that, we started to be just in the moment with her instead of worrying about other stuff. And then later, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that reminded me, Sherry Fearman is a dementia expert, and she's going to be sharing in the summit. And that just reminded me because her topic is on how relationships change when you're dealing with someone with dementia. And, it really sounds like you handled that well. So I just wanted to let people know that topic of dementia is going to be a part of that summit.
It's really important in terms of, and in many ways, it was easier for me as like a little further removed from the nuclear family. I mean, some people still say to me, "She never learned your name. Didn't that upset you?" And I said, no, she knew who I was. Every time she saw me, she knew I was me. I said, why does it make me upset if she doesn't know my name?
Yeah, you were obviously weren't a stranger to her. So,
Yeah. And so, and to for me, it was actually, as a person in kind of adjunct caregiving, it was very good for me to to detach from how things are right now, how I see them, right? It might not be how she sees them. And to give myself permission, sometimes we just sat outside and watched the birds, watch the doves run around and play in the yard and eat gravel and whatever they did. And we might sit for an hour. And in my normal everyday work, I was just going 100 miles an hour all the time. So it was really good for me to sit down and relax. At the same time, my husband had he wasn't my husband then, but he had a lot of things he was trying to do and to cover and, get this appointment, do this, do that thing. And sometimes on his time frame. And to have to remember that pushing her onto that time frame was almost never successful. And but then afterwards, after she passed away, we both had learned something about time was done. And I think that this is something that people don't always realize can happen from the caregiving experience. That is that they can be healed in the act of caring for somebody else. And so I think that also, did you say you had some mental health people there too?
We have a psychotherapist that's going to talk about caregiver burnout. And then we also have one that's going to talk about giving yourself a break, more on, just some self-care as a caregiver. So, and then we have you that's going to be helping us out. So,
so it's sometimes we just feel like we can't do enough, but just a lot of times for Bobby, if I just went and held her hand, that was enough. And to understand that my idea of I need to do this, I need to fix that, I need to do all these things, maybe I don't need to do all these things. And to just and I'm sure you had this experience when you were doing your home health and hospice, of being in the space of the person.
Yes.
That's a very different
that's a
thing.
great,
And
yeah, that's a great point, because I think what caregiving teaches you, if you allow it. Now, if you're always on your own agenda, it's difficult, but if you allow yourself to be on the person's agenda that you're caregiving for, it really allows you to really slow down and be in the moment. And that's something that we don't do very often anymore. We're always rush. What's next on the list? Okay, I'm done with this. What's the next, what's the next thing? And we don't enjoy the moment that we're in. And caregiving can really be, can be joyful if we allow it.
yeah, and it's really important to do that. So how did you find the people who are guests? I mean, we kind of met by accident online,
Yes.
but what about all the other
oh gosh,
people?
I think about networking is just sharing what you do and reaching out to others. Some of the healthcare providers I have worked with in the past, as I was putting these together, I had a doctor actually come to me and ask, to speak. And so I think what's attracting some people too is the topic and just what I'm trying to pull together. So, we have an audiologist, a hearing doctor from Colorado that came from um, uh, the assistant of the financial planner that's going to be talking. So it's who knows who. And I just put feelers out and tried to reach out to the community and to my network, and people just kept flooding in. And it's just, I am so blessed and so grateful for all the people that have come forward. My business networking group, my BNI group, has been amazing. I'm new to that group, and within a month of being with that group, I had 7 people in that group that was willing to speak at the summit on very different topics. And so just very grateful to have access to a lot of people. The BNI, I have to mention her because I think that she fits right into your podcast, and I'm really anxious for everyone to see her. But her name is Tiza Pyle. She's a PhD. She has her doctorate in education, and she's from Chicago. She is 81 herself, and she has just completed her 4th book on helping aging adults cope with change in a positive manner. And she is our keynote speaker. So every registrant, as registration opens today, as a matter of fact, but everyone who registers, whether it's for the free option or the VIP option, will immediately get Tiza's keynote video in their email box as just our gift for registering. And so she does an amazing presentation. She's gone through so many changes. She's an immigrant. She was born in Brazil. She married her husband, who was from the United States. She lost a child. She nurtured her husband through his illness. He passed away. She tried to get healthier, to not worry her kids. She lost over 100 pounds. So she's been through a lot of changes, and she has just a very bubbly, vivacious, just an amazing style, and is a very, very inspirational to aging adults, that they can deal with change as expected. We know the older we get, the more changes that are coming. I mean, it's inevitable. And so I'm just real excited to share her presentation with everyone.
I'm looking forward to it. And I will put the link for the summit registration in the comments for each video, because we're on several different platforms. And so I'll put that in there for anybody
I appreciate that.
sees the video and wants to sign up and hear Tia's presentation, and then any of the other presentations. And I also know is I'm putting the Facebook across the bottom, so that if people want to get in touch or get into your community, they can go that way. Mm-hmm. And I know, because I get your newsletter, that I think I got it on the website, was where I think I got it, signed up for it. I never remember where,
Yeah, it's
but
on. Yes, you can sign up for. It's under free resources on our website. You can get our weekly newsletter, and we share lots of content and lots of goodies there, and videos and other resources.
wonderful tips, and and useful tips for all people in all kinds of situations. And so that's the link to the website is right there, and all of that is also in the. I'll tell you what that is. The description. And I also know, because you have resources, you have free resources, you have things that people can sign up for, you have the
Yeah, we have
regular email, which is good.
Yeah. We have a free course on the ABCs of senior care. It's kind of walking you through the lingo and understanding. So we have a lot of free resources. Besides, we also have a Facebook group where we get into more discussions on caring for your aging loved ones. So that's available. But yeah, on our website, if you click the tab under free resources, you'll find all of those things. And the summit registration can be found on the website also, but that's going to be under the education tab.
Perfect. And so is there anything else you want to share with people about a tip about, which you've given several tips already, about taking care of yourself as a caregiver or supporting somebody else who is even older than we are?
You know what?
Not that you're old. I'm feeling sometimes old.
I am. I turned 65 this year, so now I'm in my first full year of Medicare and all that. So I've just been through all of that selection of all that stuff. But the one thing I will say to caregivers, whether you're just starting out or whether you've been in caregiving for a while and you're struggling, build your team. And Sherry, when she talks about dementia, she did a really good exercise, and I encourage everyone to do the same. Draw a circle with yourself in the middle and the person that you're caring for, and then draw another circle on the outside. And who's the first person you would call if you needed help? Or who are the top 2 or 3 people in your circle that you could reach out to? And then they suggest draw another circle around that. Okay, who are their neighbors, your church community, families that maybe live out of the area? Build your team. And as you do this exercise, you'll be surprised on how many people start to get into your circle. And invite these people. If you need a 4-hour break, find one of these people, tell them, and be specific. Say, I'm going to go out to lunch with the girls. I'm going to be gone from 12 to 3. Would you feel comfortable sitting with so-and-so? And then be specific on what they should do with that person. And because people will hesitate maybe to help because they don't know what's expected of them. But if you give them clear expectations and they find that it's a less daunting than they expected that it would be. I mean, people by nature want to help, but we have to give them some kind of direction. So that would be my big tip, is to look and there's lots of resources. Laura, there's other resources to help you look at building that team. But that would be my number one tip, is to start thinking bigger and develop that support team so that you make sure that you have time for your own self-care.
That's really, really great. I mean, and the idea that you have these expanding circles, somebody in the farther out thing that, like I'm in a close circle with my friend and her mom, and she trusts me to go and spend the night and be there in case something happens in the night. Well, partly it's because of the experience I had with my own mom, and partly it's that I knew her and her mom, and we went to dinner together before her mom was in lesser good health. I love English, and so that's puts in one category. But there are many people that, and I think that the primary caregiver often doesn't know how to ask.
Yes.
And so I'm really looking forward to that presentation because, You know what? I just remembered somebody volunteered to just come over and sit at my mom's house when I needed to go to the grocery store, when I needed even just for an hour,
Mm-hmm.
so that my mom would felt comfortable. And this person, uh, what I want to say is, you never know where they're going to come from.
Mm-hmm.
My mom had taught her daughter dancing. My mom was a dance teacher, and this had been a really important part of her daughter's life. And this woman who volunteered, she brought, she came 2 or 3 times a week. She wasn't working, so she would come. She said, just call me. If I'm free, I'll come. And that was such a gift to me,
Mm-hmm.
but also to my mom, because
Mm-hmm.
they had known each other over time. And this woman was calm. And if my mom was quiet, she didn't feel the need to talk. She was fine to just sit there.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's just I'm like, oh man, I had a few of those people. I didn't realize that I didn't. And there were probably other people I could have asked if I had known about the
Mm-hmm.
circle exercise.
And that outer circle might be something as like a food delivery service or Meals on Wheels, or there's a program called Share the Care out there. And I encourage everyone, that's one of the programs that we help our clients put together, but it's called Share the Care. And it's a train the trainer program. And basically it teaches a main person that wants to maybe take charge in putting together a care team for someone. And it teaches you how to invite, neighbors, church family, friends, and put together this care team and actually, put together the roster of people with what their skills are, what they're comfortable doing and what they're not, so that, someone might not be comfortable bathing someone or taking someone to the bathroom, but they're perfectly comfortable sitting for an hour and a half visiting, and or maybe reading to them or something else. So it's about taking that time too to look at your resources and see what they're comfortable with doing.
That's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I mean, even just having somebody show up for a month, it's, I don't even think about it because I'm busy, and I run somewhere and I grab lunch.
Speaking of meals, I have
But
to share this. I have to share this one tip that when we're talking about meals, if anyone, here's kind of one more little action item or a tip. If anyone is looking for a special meal or like a birthday meal or an anniversary meal, or if they have the funds to do it more often, but there is a company out there called Chefs for Seniors. And they actually come in, it's a chef, they will come into the home, they will bring the groceries, they will make the meal so no one has to leave their home, and they will serve it. And I've had so many people that have done, like for a birthday or an anniversary, when the aging adults can't leave the home, they have a chef come in and make them this amazing meal right into their home. And they talk to them ahead of time, and they work with them to plan the meal, and they look at dietary restrictions and things. But it can be an amazing experience for them to have them, a chef come into their home and make them a special meal.
so
And they're a
look at that
franchise.
little thing.
They're a franchise.
Did
So
I do
they're
it
all
right?
over. Mm-hmm.
Chefs for Seniors. I just put it up there so people could catch it on the
Mm-hmm.
video easier. And what was the other thing about putting together a care
Oh,
team that
Share
you
the
said?
Care. It's called Share the Care.
Okay. Put that one up there too, real quick, because I can type with one finger. Because, well, yes, but I can't write. But I felt very alone, actually. And my brother came, but it felt very, very much on us. And we didn't really know how long my mom was going to be in hospice. We didn't, well, there's so much you don't know, right? So much you don't know. So I think that the summit will give people touch points,
Mm-hmm.
right? Within the framework of the unknown. But
Yes.
this you can know,
Yes.
you can do.
Yes.
And I think that is, man, I would probably would have given a lot of money to have that available at the time that I was
Well,
in my active caregiving phase.
I can assure everyone that it's very super affordable. So I can honestly say that I don't feel that money would be a barrier. We, like I said, some of the providers were gracious enough to waive their speaking fee to be a part of this, so we were able to keep the costs down. So I think it will be extremely affordable for everyone.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Pam, and thank you for coming on to share about this and to share about the importance of being an advocate, actually for ourselves and for the people we care for.
Well, thank you.
It's
It's been my
incredibly
pleasure to
important.
be here. Thank you.
Thank you.